It's the Brad and John Show.
The Brad and John Show. Today's date is Friday, January 9th, 2026. And John, what do we do in the B block, which we're in right now?
Ooh, let me think. Pro body work, still make it. No, that's not it.
It's time for Brad's Top 3.
I played it exact same time you said it. Man, it sounded good,
Thank you,
too.
Brad.
And one more time, ladies, what is it going on?
It's time for Brad's Top.
And we start with...
It's number 3.
John and I already had somewhat... Oh, I just dropped my Salvation Army bell on the floor. Hold on a minute. You can't put money in the kettles anymore. Okay. John and I have had a nice discussion in A block. Now we go to B block. And here's my top 3 story this morning. Trump's ban on institutional buyers of single-family homes.
John, I thought of you the moment I saw this yesterday, Brad. Because you and I have had it out about this.
We have it out. If you don't know what's happening, the hedge funds are buying houses. As a matter of fact, there was a very interesting report I heard years ago on NPR of Steve Mnuchin. Is that how you said Steve Mnuchin?
Correct, yeah. And Brad, you point out that he's the guy that on the dollar bill printed his name.
Right, printed his name on the dollar bill. Who was Secretary of Treasury was he under Obama or was he under Trump number 1?
He was under Trump 1.
Trump 1. Okay.
Noosh.
He runs a hedge fund where they buy single-family houses, specifically like at foreclosure auctions and things like that. And matter of fact, it's interesting, guys. I heard Mark Cox talk about this morning. He moved, in the last couple of years, he moved from his house out in Wildwood to St. Charles County. I think he lives in O'Fallon now. And you've heard these ads probably for the companies that say, hey, if you don't want to sell your house, if you don't want to leave your house, but you'd like to cash out of your house, we'll buy your house from you. You can rent it from us. You know what I mean? And those are...
Yeah, as we've discussed, that's kind of... Your argument is it's a bum deal for the people because they're charged excessively high rent.
Well, he says that they were going to rent his house back to him for $3,500 a month. And the crazy part of that is you're thinking, for $3,500 a month, you can have one hell of a house. That's one hell of a house payment. I mean, at least in the St. Louis area. In Chicago or New York or L.A., that would get you a bungalow that was like 500 square feet. But what's happened is Trump essentially has seen this and saying, okay, enough of these BlackRock and Blackstone and Black whatever they are, companies buying up these houses. And I told the story about what they're doing now. They're buying houses in subdivisions, and they're playing the stupid,
appraisal
game where they're buying, like, let's say they're buying 5 or 6 houses in a subdivision. And then what they do is they sell the house to one of their other in-house corporations. They essentially move it from the left pocket to the right pocket, and they sell it at an inflated price. Let's say they bought it for $300,000 and they sell it to their own company for $600,000, which essentially makes the comps go up. And
it drives the comps much higher.
Right. It drives the comps much higher. And then they go in and buy houses, and then they turn around and sell these houses and make a ton of money because of the fact, or either the rent them out. Okay, I get it. I understand, and this is the difference between John and me. John's a big corporate guy. I'm a little business guy. I'm a small guy. John used to work for a Fortune 50 company, Monsanto. I've always worked for relatively small companies. I've owned my own company for 41 years, owned my own businesses, and it's frustrating to me to see these big guys come in and just squash the little guys. And that's starting to what's happened with this whole thing. I think Trump's on the right path here, but I don't think he's going to get it done. He's up against Wall Street.
Yeah, I don't. Pardon me for interrupting there, Brad. I do think I think we only talked about this one other time on the show, but I find I don't follow the rationale of if you are a strictly free market capitalist, how you make the argument that BlackRock or other companies can't do this. Now, Trump, other than saying it's not fair. And by the way, we got a nice message after we discussed this last time. I don't know if the gentleman wants me to say his name out. I'll give his initials of EJ. Reached out, or we'll just call him Eric. How about that? And he reached out and he pointed out that, look, a lot of times companies that do this, they can control things through a homeowners association. And he's a good rock-ribbed conservative that was explaining the conservative argument. And Brad, I think it sounds a lot like what you say here. But I just don't understand how we can tell a company, no, you can't. I understand we have monopoly laws, but that's different than going in and buying real estate.
I understand. It's a sticky issue. And like I said, I do see both sides. And I understand what you're saying. If you're going to be, once again, talk the talk, walk the walk. If you're going to be a free market capitalist, you essentially say, well, that's the free market. There's big corporations that got tons of money. But I guess the thing that's always problematic to me is that everybody looks at these corporations, they look at their 401k and they go, oh my God, look at my 401k because I bought BlackRock and I'm doing real well. But yet, by the same token, those companies are screwing with the economy. Let's be honest. They're screwing with the economy.
You should have bought BlackRock stock, Brad. Also, I think the thing that BlackRock should do is they should go to a property, I don't know, somewhere maybe just outside of the Westplex, and they should get an excavator and they should just have free reign to dig up a guy's yard.
Not going to say anything more. Okay, number 2. You ready for number 2?
Yes, Brad.
It's time for Brad's number 2. It's time for Brad's number 2.
And John, here we go again. Have you ever heard me say that before? Here we go again.
No, Brad, here we go again.
Here we go again. It came out that the police chief of the city of St. Louis, this crazy weird story.
Oh, Brad, wait a minute. Now, he went somewhere that's completely funded by private money. He's not going to be getting any taxpayer money for a cush job, is he?
No. And the ridiculous part of this is, the whole crazy story, when they enticed the chief of police to come, Robert Tracy, when they enticed him to come to St. Louis, the salary was not that good. So a group of local citizens decided to put some money together and give him an extra $100,000.
They had red kettles, right? They rang a bell.
Right, they rang, right. They said, help out Robert Tracy. Help out Robert Tracy.
Okay, I have to preempt your story because I want to give you credit. Brad Hildebrand said something to the effect of, well, he's just going to go somewhere and get another contract and make a bunch of money. And what happened?
What do you mean? What happened? He's still here at the chief, but he's going.
Yeah, but where did he go? Where else what local institution hired him, Brad?
UMSL, and it's a scam. It's just a scam. He's a consultant.
You called it. I'm giving you credit, Brad. Yeah. You called it.
It's a scam. I mean, he's not. If you read the thing, I read it this morning. Talks about. It reads like something John would churn out in his days at Monsanto as a press release.
Yeah, complete fluff that says nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, John. It is complete fluff. He's going to consult and he's going to give them a direction in the path that the university takes. It's like, what the hell did I just say? Okay. It's a scam. Now, the interesting thing is they say he's going to work 32 hours a week. Okay, let's take a look at this for a minute. I've said this before. When you're the police chief, to me, that job is 24/7, 365. The idea being is if at 3 o'clock in the morning, a riot breaks out in downtown St. Louis and the chief of police is asleep and his phone rings and he answers the phone and he says, I'll be in the office at 9. I mean, fire that guy. I mean, someone who is a police chief, a fire chief, and I know these guys. I know John Schneider, the fire chief out in Central County Fire. I mean, this guy is 24/7. If his guys are out fighting a big fire at 3 o'clock in the morning, he's there. And
he knows. Now, to give the gentleman in St. Louis credit, he wouldn't need to leave his phone on because the tornado sirens work perfectly.
Right.
You could just hit the button on the tornado sirens and it would wake him right out of bed.
But the interesting thing about this is, John, last time I checked, UMSL is, guess where? Not in the city.
In St. Louis County.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not a city job.
Right.
It's in the county.
So I'm thinking to myself, what a scam this is. This is just a damn scam. And to the point where, I mean, God. You look at stuff like this, and it's interesting. I heard somebody say, because I talk about this from time to time, whenever we had these stories that turn out to make the St. Louis area, and it's part of my whole deal with the Westplex. I keep telling people in St. Charles County, hey, forget about St. Louis City. And even to the point where Mike Elam and I have had some heated discussions on this. Not heated, but we've had some spirited discussions because he and both Steve Ellman are big picture guys. They belong to East-West Gateway, and they talk about, the whole region. I say screw the whole region, and my example has always been if you're traveling and you're in an airport and the guy next to you says, hey, where are you from? And you say St. Louis. The guy looks at you and go, oh, my God, did you get your car jacked? Is Ferguson still on fire? Right. So So if you say you're from the Westplex, and they go, where's that? Oh, it's this wonderful place out in St. Charles County. It's where 95% of the businesses are. It's where 90% of the population are. It's wonderful, and they've all sorts of great things. And schools are good, and crime's low, and house values are really good, and the neighborhoods are nice to live in. And they don't say, oh my God, did you get knifed? Did you get shot at? That kind of stuff. Get what I'm saying, John?
I do, and I think that the chief is going to go. He's probably going to go to Metrolink to UMSL North, and he's going to put a sign up to commemorate that's where Brad Hildebrand used to catch the Metrolink.
No, UMSL South is where I caught them.
UMSL South.
Yeah,
gosh, it's so characteristic of me to get that wrong.
That's the hidden. The north one is the one everybody knows about. The south one is the hidden gem that not many people know about. Right, the hidden gem. Okay, we ready for number one?
Yeah, I want number one, Brad.
And now, big finish, Brad's number.
I found something on the web yesterday that to me was absolutely positively fascinating, and I couldn't look away. I watched this entire video. It was about a 20-minute video, and it was fascinating. It has to do with grocery stores and pricing. And John, are you a Schnucks guy or are you a Dierbergs guy?
I am a Dierbergs guy now. I used to be a Schnucks guy because it was a little cheaper, but Dierbergs is much more convenient for me.
Okay, you have probably noticed that I know Schnucks has, but Dierbergs has switched over to the electronic price tags, the shelf tags. You know what I'm talking about?
I do know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. I haven't given much thought to this. Are you saying it's being controlled by some central office?
Okay. There's a group put together this very interesting thing, and even to the point where Consumer Reports has gotten involved with this. They showed what they did, and what they did was they gathered a group of people. This was sort of grassroots kind of thing, and they're doing research on this. They gathered like 12 people in a room. Okay, imagine 12 people in a room, sitting in a room, and their job was. And what's interesting, I'll bring up this is a national story, but it's got a local component because they talked about Schnucks. They went into a room and they were given a list of stuff they were supposed to buy on one specific store's website. And ideally, these are all stores that employ Instacart. Now, what they did was they sat down. Once again, they're in the same room, so they're all geolocated in the exact same place. And they did it, and they essentially said, okay, we're going to give you 20 minutes. We need you to go in, and we need to put together this shopping cart of all these things. So in other words, these people in this room, 12 people, each bought the exact same shopping cart of stuff. Exact stuff. Exact same brand, exact same size, the whole bit. And none of the people's carts cost the same. Everybody's was different. And they even talked about the fact that, and they brought out individual items. One item was like, in one shopping cart, it was $3.99. Another one was $4.26. It was all over the place. So what's interesting about this is that, and here we go again with the big corporate thing. Then they have this expert come on during this video, and he says, it's actually a clip off of CNBC or something like that. And he says, a lot of people think Instacart is just some home delivery service, but they're more than that. They're an analytics and an aggregation company. And to the point where he talked about the fact that this is going on all over the country. And what's happened with the shelf tags, since they are now electronic, each of them is addressable. You can go into a store and you can go buy one section and you can walk around and you can come back and the price may be different. And you may walk around the store one more time and come back, and the price is different again. They're doing dynamic pricing. And they talked about the fact that during the summer, they're raising the price for bottled water. And during certain events, they're raising the prices for things, and they're doing it all programmatically. It's all being done AI with all this algorithm stuff. And they brought up specifically Schnucks. And they talked about that because Schnucks, I think, was the first one to adopt this in the St. Louis area. Now, first off, from a business standpoint, think about it. If you go into a store, how many probably tens of thousands of those price tags are in your average Schnucks? I mean, because of the fact that everything has a different...
So many.
Right.
Yeah, I don't mean to cut you short, Brad, but I can't imagine the man hours that were put in 10 years ago of printing and placing and adjusting those price markers.
Thank you. Exactly. That was exactly my point. Now, obviously there's the cost of buying the software system. It's some kind of a Wi-Fi system they use or something like that.
It's an upfront infrastructure cost that requires minimal maintenance, and every once in a while you'll have to replace it, but it saves you so many man hours.
Right. It's like you said, it's a big upfront ding that you're going to have on your bottom line, but yet down the road it should repay dividends. And the interesting thing about it is Instacart, and it's funny because the one thing, and they showed this, these guys are calling these various companies and talking to like the John Combest of these various companies about, oh, you're the PR guy, tell me what's going on with this. And they showed that one of the websites for Instacart, when they had this is the part of the website that's devoted to like supermarkets going and look at what Instacart has to offer. They had a problem with one of the issues on there that they said, well, this makes it look like all you guys are just trying to do is trying to gig the consumer and probably charge them more. Oh, no, that's not it. And they went back 20 minutes later, and that page was missing off the website.
That's a good quick work from the PR and web team there. Now, Brad, so are people, to get to the heart of this, I'm guessing that people are upset about this. Now, as a business owner, his whole life, I'm talking to you, if you ran the old Magic Market up at Bell Fountain and Pattern Road, and you had the ability in 1986 to adjust prices on a whim, you would raise the price of some grape soda on a hot day in July, right?
That and red hot riblets. I mean, I'd raise both.
Yeah, absolutely, you would, Brad. But I mean, but I'm guessing people are upset about this?
I don't think I would, John. I mean, I see, the interesting thing about it is I think the thing that is problematic to me is the fact that, and it's interesting because Consumer Reports took it to the next level, and what they did was they had people from all over the country, I think they had 200 people do the exact same thing, where they gave them a list, and they went into the website and the whole bit, and the numbers were even more bizarre, to the point where, once again, people buying the exact same thing at the exact same time at the same store. One guy pays $4.29, another guy pays $3.89. And the interesting part of that was, and they gave a couple interesting terms. Part of it was they talked about, and this is something that you do in sales and things like that, it's called price resistance. The idea being is you keep raising your prices until people start to push back. Your customers start, that's too expensive.
Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt, but if you have pricing power, people are going to, and Brad, again, pardon the interruption here, but I would, if I'm running Schnucks, I know that I can charge a lot more at the Schnucks that's at the corner of Lindbergh and 40, because if a woman or a man is swinging by after work to pick up meat, I'm going to charge a ton of money at 5 o'clock for that same cut. Then I'm not going to charge for the Schnucks that's at the corner of Bell Fountain and 270.
I hear you.
I'm going to stick it to them.
And for example, I shop predominantly at two Schnucks stores that are about 2 miles apart. Okay, one of them is one of them has a wine section that probably goes on for 5 or 6 aisles. The other one has a half aisle, and all you can find there is MD20 and stuff like
Ripple,
Annie Green Springs and things stuff like that. So that gives you an example. Now, having said that, I'm a business owner myself. I don't have any problems with Schnucks because I tell you, me being a business owner, when you own a business, you look at things so differently. When I walk into a Schnucks or a Dierbergs or a Walmart or whatever, I am always amazed. I'm thinking to myself, God, the logistics behind this, the people.
And how much does the electricity cost? And how much do the security cameras
cost?
Right,
exactly. And the thing about it is most grocery stores, this is like when Biden was in office, he was saying, the grocery stores are ripping off people. The grocery store chains have a historically low profit margin. Typically, you know this, John, 1% to 2%. Isn't that the number that's usually given for?
That's right. And there's a big difference between the outer ring of the store and the inner aisles. The inner aisles where all the junk food, where you see a bunch of porkers and obesity scooters buying their junk food. The margin there is different than it is on milk and butter.
John's always Mr. Complimentary. And defending Schnucks and defending Dierbergs, and we have, what a lot of people don't realize, in the St. Louis area, we are sort of spoiled because the majority of the grocery stores in St. Louis area are locally owned and operated by the Schnucks family and the Dierbergs family. You go other places.
I disagree because I boycott both of them since they stopped stocking Dana Brown Safari coffee. That's when I started just driving to Kroger.
Yeah. You know where you have to go? You know what's funny? You should bring that
I got to go to Southeast Missouri for that.
No, you go to Troy.
Or I got to go to Troy. Isn't there one in Troy?
Yes, you go to Troy, Missouri.
That's where I go. I go to my Kroger there. Now, I still go to Northdale, right there on the corner of Larimore and Trampy. That's where I get most of my stuff.
John's turned on the Wayback Machine this morning.
Yeah, we have some people that are frequent listeners that are from Spanish Lake, Brad. Every once in a while, we got to throw in a Magic Market in Northdale. Tonight I'm going to get some delicious Eatin' from Charlie chicken.
How about
and nothing but the best pizzas for Saturday night, Brad.
Was Ponticello's around when you were a kid? Was that
Ponticello's? Why are you making it an 8 sound, Brad? It's not a musical instrument. It's Ponticello's.
Ponticello's was.
Yeah. By the way, I got to text Ned Niedringhaus back. He wants me to swing by and pick up some zucchini. You remember the Niedringhauses?
I do, John.
They were a good family. They were nice people. Were they a little strange? Probably. Did Marie try to constantly overcharge my mom for tomatoes? Yes. But were they a good, solid Spanish Lake family? Absolutely. I don't think Ned made the kids wear a lot of safety equipment when they were harvesting crops. I went to school with some of those kids. They came in smelling like vegetables and regret.
But see, John and I, the bizarre part of this is John and I frequented the same barbershop. When I went there, it was Ronnie's, and Ronnie sponsored my Little League team. And I would tell my mom, we're getting my hair cut at Ronnie's barbershop. And we'd go in there, and my mom would always tell me, always tell Ronnie, hey, my son Brad, he's on your baseball team. Oh, and Ronnie would always say, oh.
And you'd get a nickel discount.
Right, I'd get a nickel discount. He wouldn't nick me behind the ear like he normally did. That's what it was.
Yeah, he'd give you one of the gumballs from the 1962 gumball machine that hadn't been purchased in a month.
Okay, we have to take a break. We are way behind this morning.